And I want to thank the many employers who are here this evening. We don't always agree on everything, and that's the way it should be. But there are many things we do agree on. First and foremost, a commitment to the notion that through honest discussion and debate and negotiation, we can resolve our differences. A commitment to the concept of collective bargaining, and a shared desire, especially with the news of the last few days, for a strong economy where your companies and our members will flourish. And I thank you for being here. But I have more family here too. My sister and brother-in-law, Judy and Milt Wolf, who came in from California. And I know my sister was listening to all the nice things that were being said and was wondering who could they possibly be talking about. I told you, Judy, that's who I really am. And my Aunt Betty, who is celebrating her 92nd birthday today, and flew in from Boston today to be here. Happy birthday, Aunt Betty. And many of my cousins who came to provide their support and their love. And I want to thank all the staff of Israel Bonds, especially Lee Schwartz, Daphne Golan, and Richard Berg. I know we're going to miss your daily, hourly phone calls about this dinner. You have worked so hard and successfully on this dinner to raise funds for the State of Israel, a cause that is obviously very dear to me. And I especially want to thank Dave Mertz, who has been working with me for 2 decades for all the work he put into this dinner. He takes on one impossible task after another, and he does each of them smartly and calmly, and he does it successfully. And thank you, Dave. I feel very, very fortunate in life. I have gotten to spend my time in life on things that I believe are important. In my office, I keep a poster with a phrase in Hebrew and English from the book of Deuteronomy. In Hebrew it reads, Tzedek, Tzedek, tirdof. Justice, justice shalt thou pursue. I am told that the Bible uses language sparingly, and that this is the only instance in the entire Hebrew Bible where a word, justice, is repeated. Whether or not you knew the phrase, it is the imperative to pursue justice that has given meaning to so many of our lives. We look at how people are hurting, whether from economic or social injustice, and we want to be involved. We want to make a difference. We want to help people empower themselves. And what could ever be more rewarding than that? It is the mission of the labor movement. Here in New York and throughout our land, we see people who are not being paid the legal minimum wage or legal overtime, and we speak out. We see employers like Walmart who look to undermine standards, and we object strenuously. We fight for fair wages and decent benefits, affordable health care, and retirement security. We want our children to have access to decent education. We want immigration reform that unites families and provides a path to citizenship. We want every worker, no matter their background or beliefs, no matter their religion or race or the language they speak, no matter their sexual orientation or physical handicap or national origin, to be treated with dignity and respect, the same dignity and respect to which every human being is entitled. In 2 weeks, At the conclusion of Rosh Hashanah, I will be traveling to Shelbyville, Tennessee. Earlier this year, my union negotiated for the very first time anywhere a paid holiday for Eid al-Fitr, which marks the end of Ramadan. Many workers at the Tyson poultry plant in Shelbyville are refugees from Somalia. They are practicing Muslims and wanted the right to observe the holiest day of their year. My union proudly fought for them. And this year, for the very first time, their plant, with over 1,000 workers, will be shutting down in observance of Ramadan. And I will be going to Shelbyville to celebrate with them. Dignity and respect. I couldn't feel more privileged. But I would like to get very personal. The last year and a half have been difficult for me. Both of my parents passed away. My mother in January and my father 13 months before that. My parents, Henry and Miriam Appelbaum, meant the world to me. A few weeks after my mother's death, I decided to take advantage of an opportunity to go back to Israel, where I hadn't been for many years. At the end of that trip, a trip where we met presidents and prime ministers, I went to visit my cousin and his family, who lived outside of Netanya. When I got to my cousin's home, and his daughter, my cousin Michal, is here this evening, I saw the pictures my cousins had hanging on their living room wall, pictures of our family. And among the pictures on the wall was one I had never seen before of my great-grandfather sitting in his backyard in Newton, Massachusetts. In fact, I had never seen any picture of my great-grandfather before. But there I was in Israel, in Einev, looking at a picture of my great-grandfather. My cousin was born in the United States. His wife, Rachel, was born in Yemen. And my great-grandfather was from what is now Lithuania. The United States, Yemen, and Lithuania. But at that moment, we were all in Israel, and it seemed right. I felt that I had found something about myself, that I found some connection to my heritage, and that I had come to Israel for that very reason. I have been involved in many dinners and events over the years, but this one is very special with both my families here, my union family and my genetic family. And I know that my parents would have been very proud of this dinner. They would have understood what it was all about. And that sense makes this dinner different for me. I feel that this dinner is really in their honor. Israel was important to them, and Israel is important to me. And I am so extraordinarily proud to say that Israel is important to the American trade union movement.